Good afternoon, all. So we have started first chapter, and we have discussed many more things related to this. Okay. First chapter we have started, in which we have studied a study of BIS convention. So we have discussed what is BIS convention, machine drawing, etc. So just we will take a recap. You can see what we have seen till now. So almost 50% chapter we have studied this. What we have seen, basics of machine drawing. This was the syllabus. We have discussed what is machine, what is drawing, different symbols, then placing of dimensions or methods of giving dimensions, that also we have discussed. Depending upon dimension and how types are there, that we have discussed already. Okay. Thereafter, we have seen what does it mean by an importance, and what is meant by actually BIS, Bureau of Indian Standard, that we have discussed. In standardization, interchangeability, then title block. We have discussed things related to title block. Okay, so what is the necessary of title block while giving uh, dimensions or any observation? Then we have seen standard sheet sizes where we can draw the drawing. So different sheet sizes are there. Total 5 are there. Out of that, these are designated as A0, A1, A2, A3, A4. Okay, so A0 is the largest one, A4 is the smallest one. Total 5 drawing sheet sizes are there. We have discussed the conventional representation of engineering materials. How engineering materials are uh, shown, that we have discussed. Thereafter, gears we have seen. How many gears we have seen? Or we have discussed how many types of gears? Can anybody reply quickly?
Four.
Four we have seen. One is spur gear. Tips are parallel to the shaft axis. Okay, and when shafts are parallel, it is used. Then we have seen this one, dual gear. Two angles we have to remember. Once there will be a concept of dual gear. Which are they? Quickly, which two angles we have to remember?
45 and 90 degree.
Very good. 45 and 90 degree. 45 why? Because tips are inclined at 45 to the shaft axis. It is called as beveling angle of bevel gear. Beveling angle of bevel gear. Similarly, 90 degree. Why 90 degree? Bevel gears are used to transmit power through 90 degree. That's why bevel gear. Okay. Then worm wheel. Only orientation of teeth a little bit different than spur gear. That's why it is worm. So it is having some concave shape to accommodate the worm. Otherwise, it is similar to spur gear. Okay, that we have discussed. And worm, actually, it is not a gear, it is a shaft. On shaft, tips are there. That's why it is called as worm, that we have seen. And what is the application of worm and worm wheel we have discussed? Are you remembering?
High speed reduction.
High speed reduction. When we want a high speed reduction, then worm and worm wheel is used. Further, we have seen assemblies. Assembly, word itself giving definition. Assembly is nothing but when more than one gear, it may be 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, more than one gear will come into contact. Suppose two gears are coming into contact, assembly will form. So spur gear assembly. So when we want opposite speed, number one, and next one is what? Opposite speed, and when shafts are parallel, spur gear assembly is used. So one of the important concept we have seen as far as pitch circle is concerned. Can anybody tell what was that concept? Pitch circle. How should be the pitch circle?
Pitch circle touch at one point only.
Very good. A pitch circle of two gears should pitch circle of two gears should touch at one point only. That was the concept, or that was the important phenomena. If at all pitch circles will remain away from each other, then what will happen? power will not transfer. Power will not transfer. On the other hand, if at all, uh, pitch circles will intersect each other, what will happen? Pitch circles will intersect each other. What will happen?
Jamming of gear.
Very good. Jamming of gears will happen. Automatically, power will not transfer because purpose of gear or gear assembly is to power transmission. Means for what this assembly is done, it will not happen. So that was the we can say purpose. Further, that we have seen gear assemblies. We have seen in that first one is per gear assembly. Second one is bevel gear assembly. 90-degree power transmission or perpendicular power transmission is the aim of this. We have discussed this also. Worm gear assembly, actually it is animation, but here it is not running. Animation, high speed reduction ratio. Can anybody tell how it is used for high speed reduction ratio? Worm gear assembly. Worm gear assembly, how it is used for high speed reduction ratio? Because once one rotation will happen of this top side worm, how many rotations will happen from this worm gear, bottom gear, which is it is there, or
1 teeth.
uh, huh?
1 teeth.
Correct, one teeth. It will happen one teeth, or it will advance. Advance means going forward. It will forward through only one teeth. Likewise, further, that rack and pinion. What was the application we have seen? Rack and pinion.
To convert rotary motion into linear motion or vice versa.
Okay, very good. To convert rotary motion into translatory or linear motion, also correct. To convert rotary motion into linear or translatory motion. So rack and pinion is application for this. Practical example we have discussed. Anybody is remembering what was the practical example we have seen?
Steering.
Steering mechanism is the best example. Once we are going to rotate steering wheel, automatically this gear arrangement is provided so that this rotary motion is converted into translatory or linear. Up to that we have seen. After that, most important thing we have started related to this one, conventional representation of machine components. Conventional representation of machine components that we have just started. Okay, in that different components and how it is shown actually in this particular bit or in this particular syllabus of this conventional representation of machine components, what we are supposed to do, just we are supposed to do or we can say we are going to study convention, how particular thing is shown in drawing. That's all. How a particular thing is shown in drawing. That is the conventional representation. For example, I will give you a little example. You have studied basic civil engineering. So this symbol already we have discussed. Why for this symbol is used in basic civil engineering? This particular symbol. This particular symbol. Suppose you came across, you are traveling, and here something like this. No, so here I will draw. On road, such symbol will come. The symbol we have to see means we should know the meaning of that symbol. That's all. Okay. So for example, this symbol on road, suppose you are traveling on bike, many times symbol is coming across something like this, something like this. So whenever there is a bridge, something bridge like this symbol, bridge is there, narrow bridge we can say, narrow bridge. Front side there is a narrow bridge. In that case, the symbols are coming. Similarly, it is related to civil engineering, but related to our mechanical engineering, what different components are used and what is their symbol? For that purpose it is used. For that purpose it is used. Number one, knurling. What is meant by knurling? Can anybody define what is knurling? Knurling. Knurling means what?
When
We have discussed this.
whenever we want to tight or lose any component, structure is provided which have firm grip.
For the purpose of firm grip means a structure provided on the component to have a firm grip while maybe loose or tight. Suppose we want to make a nut tight or loose. In that case, structure is provided on the component. That structure is called as knurling. There are two types of knurling. Which are they? There are two types of knurling. Which are they? Such question will come in your life further in technical interview. What is knurling? Which are the types of knurling? Maybe in your final year. So which are the types of knurling we have seen? It is in front of you. This is the type number 1. This is in type number 2.
Diamond.
Straight knurling and diamond knurling. In straight knurling, what is happening here? Structure is provided something like straight, and here some crossed structure is provided. Here it is. All things are in front of you. Crossed structure is provided to have a firm grip. Firm means fixed, tight. Grip means pakad in Marathi. To have a firm grip. Okay. For that purpose, knurling is used. So hereafter, once this word will come into picture or it will come in front of you, you should not confuse. What does it mean by knurling? Knurling means a structure provided on the component to have a firm grip. It is called as knurling. That are two types we have seen. Then square on shaft. What is the purpose of a square on shaft? What we have seen? You have to listen lecture very carefully. You will not find such information in any of the book. Only you will find diagram itself, but application you will not find. So if I will ask what is the purpose to provide square on shaft, so one line answer I have given. To avoid, who will tell what is the word next? Avoid what? Very good. To avoid, what is the spelling of slip?
SLIP.
To avoid the slip, most important. To avoid the slip. To avoid the slip. Okay. Once we want to avoid the slip, means there is a shaft and there is a mounting. Something will be there mounted on the shaft. That is the purpose while power transmission. It may be pulley, it may be gear, it may be sprocket, etc. To avoid the slip, that is the purpose of square on shaft. Okay, so you remember this thing. Next one, holes on circular pitch. Actually, there is no some technical application. What is the actual? It is there. Holes on circular pitch means what? What do you are observing? There are two figures in which in first component or subject, if particular component is having n number of holes, if particular component is having n number of holes, then what we have to consider? Only that holes are shown, only one hole we can show, remaining we can show by its center line. That's all. That is the meaning of holes on circular pitch. Means what does it we can understand from this? If particular component is consist of n number of holes are there, then it is not necessary to show in actual drawing all the holes. Only one hole you can show, remaining you can show by its which line? Remaining holes can be shown by only by which line? Center line, dotted line, or what? By center line. So here you can see, so only one, this hole is shown here. So middle, this middle is shown, remaining, so you can show only center lines are shown, something like this. Only center line. So likewise, only center lines are shown, only one hole can be shown, remaining can be shown by center line. That's all. That is the meaning of holes on circular pitch. Similarly, next one, then next you can see what is bearing. The symbol of bearing, it is there, shaft, and some mounting is mounted on the shaft. It is called as bearing. What is the purpose of bearing, or why we should use the bearing? Are you remembering?
To support the shaft.
Very good. To support the shaft. To support the shaft. Once word will come shaft in front of you, it is a rotating element which is used for power transmission. Shaft is always rotating. Shaft is always rotating element. It is not stationary. Okay, it is a rotary element. Means it is very difficult. Okay, as that element is rotating, it is very difficult to give support. That's why bearings are used to support the shaft. You remember, bearings are used to support the shaft. Okay, number one. Further are there to reduce the friction, etc. Secondary purposes are there, but primary purpose is to support the shaft. Okay, next one, threading. Next one is threading. Types of threads. What does it mean by thread? Thread means what? Thread. In case of mechanical engineering, what does it mean by threading? मराठीमध्ये काय म्हणायचं threading ला? What we have to say? Threading. आट्या. So nut and bolt, very famous components. Always in our day-to-day life, we are coming across nut bolt, which is having threading. So which component is having external threads and which component is having internal thread?
Bolt having external and nut having internal threads.
Bolts are having external thread, nuts are having internal thread. That we have to remember. What about symbol? There are two circles. The symbols are most important again. What about symbol? Here is the symbol. If there is external thread, external circle will be what I have told. Are you remembering? Whenever there is external threads, external circle is complete. Remember this sentence throughout your life. Always, if there is something symbol, always. So whatever this right hand side components are there. Right hand component. It will not be there always. Okay. So that's why whenever only you will come across this symbol, you have to remember. Further, suppose one more symbol is there. Symbol, or we can say convention, something like this. Suppose such component is there and two lines are there very near to each other, having hardly 1 mm distance, something like this. When two lines are drawn near to each other, something like this, it means it is a threading. What is the meaning of that? It means it is a threading. Its meaning काय होतं? It is a threading. So circles are there. External threading, external circle is complete. Internal threading, internal circle is complete. So this symbol and this symbol. Then assembly. Assembly also you can remember how it is. So assembly, it is not that way it's necessary, but still you can remember. Okay. Further now think. Next one is spline the shaft. Are you able to see spline the shaft? I think. Are you able to see spline the shaft? Give response. Are you able to see spline the shaft on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Splined shaft. What is meaning of spline in Marathi? Spline म्हणजे काय? Let us. What do you understand? Spline. Let us see your English. Splined shaft. Actually, if you take a shaft in your day-to-day life, shaft, it is a round bar. Round असतो round, which is having suppose plane or curvature surface. Circumference is curvature. Are you getting? But splined shaft means what? Splined shaft means what? Shaft which is having splines. मराठीमध्ये आपण खाचा म्हणतो, खाचा. असे गाळे असल्यासारखं, something like this. It is having these splines. You might be remembering. This one is one spline, this one is another spline, this one is another spline. This on the shaft, splines are there. On the shaft, there are certain splines. Okay, it is called as splined shaft. So, what will be the purpose? Have you observed in the practical such shaft? Have you observed असा shaft कुठं पाहिलाय का practical life मध्ये? Have you seen? So regular shaft, many more places you can say regular shaft, or we can say round bar, something like round bar, round shaft. But a shaft which is having such splines, the shaft which is having such splines, Have you seen ever such shaft in your day-to-day life? पाहिला असेल तर हो म्हणा, नसेल तर नाही म्हणा. असा शाफ्ट प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये पाहिला आहे का? हॅव यू सीन सच शाफ्ट इन युअर प्रॅक्टिकल लाईफ? असं कुठं डे टू डे लाईफ असं बाहेर कुठं पाहिला आहे का? एक अॅनिमेशन आहे बघा, ते तुम्हाला दिसतंय का स्क्रीनवरती? देर इज वन अॅनिमेशन विच इज रनिंग.
Yes,
हॉरिबल
sir.
सिच्युएशन. अॅनिमेशन, आर यू एबल टू सी अॅनिमेशन? असं पाहिलंय का कुठं प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये? काहीतरी असं कनेक्ट केलंय
Sir,
असं
पाहिले
power आहे. हा
पाहिले सर.
हा, कुठं पाहिलंय?
सर ट्रॅक्टरचा रोटर असतो ना, तो फिरवायसाठी
good.
त्याचा
Very good. I was expecting say this answer only. I was expecting this answer only. So in case of tractor, such shaft is there. Even it is there in some machines, etc. But in tractor, it is very famous. हा ट्रॅक्टर मध्ये शाफ्ट असतो, कुठल्याही ट्रॅक्टरला पाहा तुम्ही. ऍट द बॅक साइड व्हाईल व्हेनेवर देर आर समथिंग रोटेटिंग, म्हणजे रोटर असतो बघा, रोटर. मी म्हणताल नांगर किंवा समथिंग अदर, इट इज नॉट देअर. बट मे बी सपोज ब्लोअर असेल, रोटर असेल, विच इज रोटेटिंग, तिथे रोटेट पण झालं पाहिजे, आणि इट इज शाफ्ट ओनली. what I definition I have told, rotating element is called the shaft. Okay, means rotation is also happening, but what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this to provide the spline? The purpose काय असेल, कोण सांगते का? Answer, what was I was expecting, it is correct. In case of tractor, while connecting rotor to the tractor, it is used. Further, याचा पर्पज काय? राऊंड का फक्त ठेवला नाही, त्याला स्प्लाइन का दिले असतील वरती? Why splines are provided on the shaft instead of keeping it round? राऊंड पण ठेवू शकलो असतो आपण, पण त्याला स्प्लाइन का दिलेत? स्प्लाइन म्हणजे काय?
अवॉइडिंग स्लिपेज.
अवॉइडिंग स्लिपेज. अजून काय? अॅनिमेशन पहा आता, अॅनिमेशन थोडस केअरफुली जर तुम्हाला दिसत असेल, मी एका ठिकाणी दाखवतो. जर तुम्ही अॅनिमेशन पाहिलं, एवढ्या भागामध्ये ऑब्झर्वेशन करा, एवढा दिस मच. काय होतंय सांगा? लेंथ, ऍज फार एज लेंथ इज कन्सर्न, इज देर एनी चेंज इन लेंथ? चेंज काय होतो लेंथ म्हणजे? कमी जास्त काय होते असं वाटतंय का सेमच राहते फिरत असताना? इफ यू ऑब्झर्व व्हेरी केअरफुली,
कमी जास्त होऊ शकते सर.
कमी जास्त होते, किंवा इथे पण पाहू शकता. जर तुम्हाला क्लिअरली जर बघायचं असेल तर एवढ्या एरियामध्ये बघायचं. शाफ्ट पुढं आणि मागं जातोय. व्हाईल रोटेशन, इट इज जस्ट गोइंग टू अँड फ्रो. मीन्स व्हॉट हॅपनिंग, व्हॉट इज द पर्पज ऑफ स्प्लाइन द शाफ्ट? इट विल अलाउ चेंज इन लेंथ. इट विल अलाउ चेंज इन लेंथ व्हाईल पॉवर ट्रान्समिशन. म्हणजे शाफ्टची ज्यावेळी पॉवर ट्रान्समिशन होत असते, व्हॉट विल हॅपन? इट विल अलाउ चेंज इन लेंथ. व्हॉट विल हॅपन म्हणजे, आता रोटरचं एक्झाम्पल सांगितलं एक जणाने, की व्हाईल कनेक्टिंग रोटर टू द ट्रॅक्टर, दिस शाफ्ट इज यूज. व्हॉट इज द पर्पज? पर्पज काय आहे याचा? म्हणजे ज्यावेळी ऍक्च्युअल ट्रॅक्टर विल वर्क इन अवर फार्म, दिस स्ट्रक्चर विल बिकम रिजिड इफ वी विल नॉट अलाउ चेंज इन लेंथ. रिजिडचं मत हे कळतंय आता, अप्लाइड मेकॅनिक्स शिकलाय तुम्ही. रिजिड स्ट्रक्चर विल बिकम रिजिड वेन वी विल नॉट अलाउ चेंज इन लेंथ. आपल्याला जर चेंज इन लेंथ जर केली नाही अलाउ, काय होईल? स्ट्रक्चर रिजिड होईल. रिजिड, आर यू गेटिंग मिनिंग ऑफ रिजिड? रिजिड शब्द ऐकलाय इन अवर इंजिनिअरिंग मेकॅनिक्स सीएम सब्जेक्ट? रिजिड हा शब्द ऐकलाय का? रिजिड
Yes,
म्हणजे
sir.
काय? रिजिड म्हणजे जर आपण चेंज इन लेंथ अलाउ केली नाही तर स्ट्रक्चर रिजिड होणार, आणि समजा चेंज इन लेंथ अलाउ नाही केली तर स्ट्रक्चर ऑटोमॅटिकली रिजिड होऊन ते फेल होणार, ब्रोक. इट विल गेट ब्रेक, शाफ्ट तुटून जाणार. ध्यानात ठेवा. इफ विल नॉट अलाउिंग चेंज इन लेंथ, structure will become rigid and it will break. It will break. That's why, what is the purpose of splined shaft? It will allow change in length. It will allow change in length during power transmission. During power transmission. That is the purpose of splined shaft. Who will tell now what is the purpose of splined shaft? कोण सांगेल मग splined shaft चा purpose काय? One line answer.
It will allow to change in length.
When? During? कधी पण.
Power transmission.
That is most important. During power transmission, spline shaft. If you will ask, if I will ask, what is the purpose of spline shaft, or what is power? What is spline shaft? Very simple. What is spline shaft? जर मी विचारलं, or anyway, being a mechanical engineer, this will come in front of you always. Once, if somebody will ask, what is the meaning of spline shaft, or what do you know about spline shaft? What is the purpose of spline shaft? What is application of spline shaft? Immediate answer should come from you. What was that answer? It will allow change in length during power transmission. Whenever power transmission is happening, it will allow change in length. Further question I will ask: what will happen if what will happen if it will not allow change in length? What will happen? काय होईल जर चेंज इन लेंथ आपण अलाउच केली नाही? What will happen then? Structure will become, कसं स्ट्रक्चर बनेल हे? Structure will become rigid and automatically it will break down. Automatically तुटून जाणार ते, जर आपण चेंज इन लेंथ अलाउ केली नाही तर ते it will break down. That's why. So are you getting what is the spline shaft? Day to day life, ज्यांच्या घरी ट्रॅक्टर आहेत, you can observe this shaft behind the tractor. You will get this 100%. So tractor, everybody's, you can see it is now in common. So you can see such shaft are there for the tractor spline shaft, which will allow change in length during power transmission. Okay, further, interrupted views. Interrupted views, it is there is nothing to discuss regarding this. So if such components are there, such components, if it is there, the interrupted view means whatever structure is provided, this structure in your MOM subject, mechanics of material, many times you will draw this symbol. First one is for solid shaft, another one is hollow shaft. So here you will observe only one circle. Okay, it is solid shaft, and here hollow shaft. Two circles are there. It means it is a hollow shaft. There is nothing. Means interrupted views are shown something like this. So these interrupted views are shown something like this. Interrupted views are shown something like this. Something splined this structure. Means if it is a shaft, something this shaft, so such structure. Okay, maybe something like this. Such structure is provided, and we are saying it is an interrupted views. Okay. Interrupted views. Okay. Further now, what is this name? Who will read this? Interrupted views. How we can show that is there only? Next one. What is that? What is next component? Read on screen. What is this component? I have rounded it.
Semi-elliptic lip spring.
Semi-elliptical lip spring. Semi-elliptical lip spring. Very, very, very common component from the mechanical engineering. Elliptical lip spring or lip spring. Only we will say meanwhile lip spring. So have you observed this component in your practical life? This one.
Yes, sir.
काय म्हणतात त्याला मराठीमध्ये? What we are calling it as a
पाटा.
पाटा. कुठं असतो हे? पाहिलाय का सगळ्यांनी? Where it is?
सर वाहनांच्या खालच्या बाजूला असतो.
वाहनांच्या खालच्या बाजूला असतो. एनी स्पेसिफिक एक्झाम्पल? आता बरीचशी वाहनं असतात, कुठं पाहिलंय का असा?
टेलर.
ट्रेलर. ट्रॅक्टर ट्रेलर मध्ये दिसतो बघा. उघड्या डोळ्यांनी जर जाता जाता चांगलं लक्ष दिलं, यू विल ऑब्झर्व दिस कंपोनंट इन ट्रॅक्टर ट्रेलर. सो व्हॉट इज द पर्पज ऑफ दिस? इट विल, नावच आहे बघायचं, स्प्रिंग. नेम इट सेल्फ इज अ स्प्रिंग. आता मला सांगा, तुम्हाला स्प्रिंग म्हणल्यावर काय, व्हॉट डू यू अंडरस्टँड बाय स्प्रिंग, और व्हॉट डू यू नो अबाउट स्प्रिंग? स्प्रिंग का असते? स्प्रिंग स्प्रिंगचा काय पर्पज आहे बरं? फॉर एक्झाम्पल
शॉक ऑब्झर्व कर.
करेक्ट, शॉक ऑब्झॉर्बर. आपण मराठीमध्ये जर टू व्हीलरला असेल तर अगदी आपल्या डे टू डे लाईफ मध्ये काही म्हणतो आपण, समथिंग शॉक ऑब्झर्वर, समथिंग समथिंग. बट करेक्ट टेक्निकल नेम इज व्हॉट? करेक्ट टेक्निकल नेम काय हो त्याचं? टू व्हीलर मध्ये असतात ते. करेक्ट टेक्निकल नेम इज व्हॉट? शॉक ऍब्झॉर्बर. So I will write here shock. Okay, absorber म्हणजे शोषून घेणाऱ्या थोडक्यात. शॉक म्हणजे absorb. What will be the spelling? APTION, whatever. Absorber, shock absorber. आपण shock absorber वगैरे वगैरे. You can see many more names, but a correct name is shock absorber. So purpose of spring is to absorb the shock. Similarly, आपण टू व्हीलर मध्ये आपण सिंपल लिप स्प्रिंग, हेलिकल स्प्रिंग असतात सिंपल. But in case of heavy load, such springs are there. In case of truck, trailer, etc. It is called as lip spring. तर मराठीमध्ये आपण पाटा असं म्हणतो याला, पाटा. पाटे तुटले गाडीचे म्हणजे स्प्रिंग तुटली. इट इज अ स्प्रिंग. इट इज नथिंग बट वन ऑफ द स्प्रिंग इन केस ऑफ ऑटोमोबाईल. In case of automobile, it is a spring. So simple semi-elliptical lip spring is shown. Its symbol is this. Symbol something like moon structure. Something we can call it as a moon structure. So lip spring म्हणजे काय? मराठीमध्ये काय म्हणायचं लिप स्प्रिंगला? मराठीमध्ये काय म्हणणार लिप स्प्रिंगला? बघितलंय का नाही? आता ऊसाचे सीझन चालू झालेत. Sugar factory, sugarcane factories are started just now. You can observe many more tractors with this lip spring. Have you observed? Have you observed in day-to-day life?
Yes, sir.
Have you observed a tractor at least with sugarcane?
Yes, sir.
You might have observed nowadays tractors are going by taking sugarcane to the sugar factory. While now, no, don't observe only tractor and sugarcane in the trailer. Now try to observe these components. Try to observe this splined shaft. Try to observe this lip spring. Okay. So once, as I told, this lip spring, it is nothing but this in Marathi pata. So two important things are there as far as lip spring is concerned. Number one, it is called as band, center band. So this one, where we each I will write in short CB, center band. It is called as center band, and this structure where it is clamped to the body of the uh, automobile, it is called as eye and center band. These are the two things related to lip spring. What is the purpose of center band? It will hold a number of springs together. सेंटर बँडचा पर्पज काय आहे? इट विल होल्ड म्हणजे एकत्रित ठेवतोय नंबर ऑफ लिप स्प्रिंग. अँड व्हॉट इज द पर्पज ऑफ EYE म्हणजे हे जे स्ट्रक्चर दिसतं का गोल असं, इट इज कॉल्ड एज आय. इट विल कनेक्ट लिप स्प्रिंग टू द विथ द चेसिस or body, we can say further body of the automobile or chassis, whatever. So that is the purpose of eye and center band. Further types are there. So here you can see lip spring with eyes when it will come. So actually here I have kept one of the picture. Are you observing in the picture? Actually one photo of the trailer, we can say I have kept here. दिसतोय का तुम्हाला? Are you able to see? Are you able to see or not?
Yes, sir.
So actually, one of the photograph I have kept here. One of the photograph I have kept here. So with lip spring, semi-elliptical lip spring with eyes. With eyes means this circular structure. With eyes means circular structure, and with center band means in middle there will be a center band. Likewise. So what do you understand by lip spring? Lip spring म्हणजे काय मग कोण सांगेल मला? One line. It is used for shock absorber as a shock absorber in automobile. And two things are related to lip spring. Which are they? One is eye and another one is center band. Why for eye is used in the lip spring? To connect lip spring with the body of automobile. And why for center band is used in case of what we can say lip spring. Center band चा काय उपयोग आहे लिप स्प्रिंग मध्ये?
It hold number of lip springs.
Very good. It will hold number of lip spring together. Okay. So this one is related to lip spring. So hereafter, once lip spring a word will come into picture, you should not confuse. What is lip spring? You should know immediately. Further springs now. Purpose of springs to absorb a shock or jerk. Absorb the shock or jerk, something like this. Now further now. After lip spring, let's go further. Cylindrical compression spring. So cylindrical compression, it is very famous. You might have seen many more times. So this one is cylindrical compression spring. So this one, black color, cylindrical compression spring. So it is shown something like this. So while showing its symbol, so this one is symbol, symbol of cylindrical compression spring. So here you have to remember its top and bottom helix is horizontal. तर हा सिम्बॉल ज्यावेळी तुम्ही दाखवचाल हा सिलेंड्रिकल कॉम्प्रेशन स्प्रिंग. So you have to remember its top and bottom is horizontal. Top आणि bottom हा horizontal आहे. That you have to remember. Its top and bottom is horizontal. Are you getting? So you can remember that like that. Further. So who will tell application of this cylindrical compression spring? कुठं पाहिले का cylindrical compression spring? First one, this one. Cylindrical compression spring. Have you
सर
seen?
टू व्हीलर गाड्यांना शॉक ऑब्झर्वर मध्ये.
Very good. Two-wheeler shock absorber is the best application of this. Two-wheeler shock absorber is the application of this. Further, and most important thing related to cylindrical compression spring is what? It will take which load? Tension load or compression load? Name itself it is there in compression. Which type of load it will take?
Comprehension.
Compression.
It will take compression load. It is as simple as this. Further, cylindrical tension spring, it will take tension load. So change is what? Here structure is something like this. Here round shape. So here it is a round shape. Here it is a round shape. Something like semi round we can say. That shape is there here and here straight one. Top and bottom is straight. Here shape is something like this. Okay. Then cylindrical tension spring. So what do you know about cylindrical tension spring? So have you seen such application or such spring in your day-to-day life? Where it is used?
सायकल किंवा गाडीच्या स्टँडला असते.
Very good. Bicycle stand is one of the application where it will take tension load. Is one of the application. Very nice. Bicycle stand. Any other application in day-to-day life? Any application in day-to-day life have you seen? अजून कुठं असते का फक्त बायसिकल स्टँड झालं सिलेंड्रिकल टेन्शन स्प्रिंग संपले असं आहे का अजून कुठं पाहिलंय?
ट्रॅक्टर मध्ये पण असतात ब्रेक क्लच त्याच्या खालच्या बाजूला असतात.
Very good. There also it is there in case of brakes etc. Okay. Further, तराजू पाहिलाय तराजू सिंपल काय म्हणायचं तराजूला इंग्लिश मध्ये? What we have to call?
पेंडुलम.
तराजूला pendulum? Whether we have to say pendulum or what? तराजूला इंग्लिश मध्ये काय म्हणतात? Intentionally I am asking. Let us check your English knowledge. What we have to call? If you will go in any shop, immediately half kg, 1 kg, 2 kg, etc. It will be measured in what we have to say. In chemistry, you might have something you have measured, you have taken for your experiment, etc. It might have happened. What do we have to call? Weightlifting machine? काय म्हणायचं इंग्लिश मीडियम मधून कोण आलंय का नाही? Whether we have to call weightlifting machine or weighing machine? काय म्हणायचं? Weighing machine. Simply, not lifting. Only we will say, let us call it as a weighing machine. So in that case also it is used. Cylindrical tension spring In case of bicycle stand, in case of brakes, in case of weighing machine, this spring is used. Okay. Further, spiral spring and discus spring. So who will tell? Such where you have seen the first ones, it is a spiral spring. It is spiral only. It is spiral only. So who will tell the application or where you have seen such spiral spring? First one. In day-to-day life, in your childhood, you might have seen this spring, but right now you may not be remembering. So where we can use this spiral spring? कौन सांगते हैं? Where we can use? Rule number 3, Bosle.
Sir, in toys.
Hmm?
In toys.
In toys. Correct. In case of toys, we can use this. How? My further question is how?
सर ते चावी
Yes.
असते त्याला फिरवायला मागे ते
Very good.
फिरवल्यानंतर ते स्प्रिंग स्ट्रेच होते.
काय होतं? वाउंडिंग, गुंडाळणे. वाउंडिंग म्हणायचं ना?
हा येस सर.
ओके. वाउंडिंग अँड अनवाउंडिंग. अनवाउंडिंग. वाइंडिंग म्हणू आपण. वाइंडिंग और अनवाउंडिंग समथिंग. म्हणजे गुंडाळते. आपण काय करतो? खेळणी जी असतात लहान मुलांची. तुम्ही बघ खेळला असता लहानपणी. What we are doing whenever we are just rotating that key, it is getting winding, and once it will happen unwinding, automatically that toy will go in front direction. That toy will go in front direction. So winding and unwinding will happen. So application of further forget about it. What is the application? Application of spiral spring is what? In where it is used? Spiral spring. Spiral spring is used in toys. Simple answer. Spiral spring is used in toys. Okay, and discus spring. So this one is discus spring. In automobile, it is used. So many times you might have not seen this, but many times we are saying disc brake, etc. So it is forming with the help of number of discs. That's why it is called as discus spring. So discs are there. So here cut section is taken and it is one by one. It is happening something like this. Okay, discus spring. Spiral spring application is toys. Okay. Last one now. Last. Ratchet and fall. Ratchet and fall mechanism. Last one. So today's last concept. So let us discuss this one and then we will stop. So ratchet and fall mechanism. So what it is happening? So whatever there is one river, not river, lever, lever. One lever is provided, and this whatever this circular part is there, it is called as ratchet, which is having some, we can say, erasions. Eration is correct, no? Eration or what we are calling. त्याला उंचवटे असतात त्याला काय म्हणतो आपण, प्रोजेक्शन समथिंग or erection something like this. So fall. The purpose is what? Ratchet and fall. The purpose is of this is what? Purpose of this component is what? The power transmission will happen only in one direction. Power transmission will happen only in one direction. Means this fall will not allow to rotate in opposite direction. Here arrow is shown. Here arrow is shown. Arrow दाखवलाय बघा. म्हणजे याचं रोटेशन फक्त एकाच डायरेक्शनला होऊ शकते. If at all you will try to move in this direction, locking will happen. येते का लक्षात? If at all you will rotate in this direction, locking will happen. Here also you can see in this component, rotation will happen in this direction only. Rotation will happen in the here also. Rotation will happen in which direction? Here, in this direction. Only in this direction. Okay, it will not happen in opposite direction. Okay, something like this. So that is the purpose. One direction power transmission. That is the purpose of ratchet and fall. One direction power transmission. If at all you will try to rotate in opposite direction, it will not happen. Now who will tell application? Or you want to take it as a homework? One direction power transmission. Who will tell application of ratchet and fall? Yes, एकाच डायरेक्शनला पॉवर ट्रान्समिशन होते, दुसऱ्या बाजूला होते तर एंगेज अँड डिसएंगेज. I will tell in other words. If you'll rotate in one direction, engagement will happen. Components will get engaged. If you will rotate in opposite direction, disengage will happen. पवन शिंदे 77 असं पाहिलंय का की प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये एखाद्या डायरेक्शनला फिरवलं का एंगेजमेंट होते, दुसरे फिरवलं का डिसएंगेज होत. पवन शिंदे.
No, sir.
Not seen anywhere. अवताडे जगन्नाथ. Have you seen application?
No, sir.
आपण ऑब्झर्वेशन करत नाही बघितलं. ऑब्झर्वेशन, अवर ऑब्झर्वेशन शुड बी व्हेरी क्लिअर. त्यावेळी आपल्या लक्षात येईल बघा. कोमल खिलारे, रोल नंबर 9. सर्वोदय अस्मिता. Have you seen such application anywhere in practical where one direction power transmission is happening? पाहिला असेल तर हो म्हणा, नसेल तर नाही म्हणा. नो इश्यू. Have you seen? डाके 23. डाके. प्रदीप धुमाळ. धुमाळ प्रदीप.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen such application ratchet and fall? म्हणजे एका डायरेक्शनला झालं का पॉवर ट्रान्समिट होते, दुसऱ्या बाजूला फिरवलं काही पॉवर ट्रान्समिशन होत नाही. असं ऍप्लिकेशन बघितलंय का प्रॅक्टिकल मध्ये?
No, sir.
No. First example I will tell. Let it be. If it is knowing, very good. But observation try to maintain. For example, bicycle. सगळ्यांनी सायकल चालवली असेल सायकल. सिंपल बायसिकल आय एम टेकिंग एक्झाम्पल. काय होतं बायसिकल? इफ यू टेक बायसिकल पॅडल, ज्यावेळी आपण बायसिकलचे पॅडल फिरवतो, once we are rotating in forward direction, what is happening? Either power is transmitting to rear wheel, पाठीमागच्या व्हीलला पॉवर जाते का? ज्यावेळी आपण फॉरवर्ड डायरेक्शन मध्ये पॅडल फिरवू, जाते का पॉवर मागच्या चाकाला? सांगा हो
Yes,
का
sir.
नाही?
जाते.
जाते. ऑन द अदर हँड आपण पॅडल रिव्हर्स डायरेक्शन मध्ये फिरवायला लागलो, पॉवर ट्रान्समिट होते का?
होत नाही सर, ते एमटी जाते रोटेशन.
एमटी जातं. व्हेरी गुड. एमटी. पॉवर इज नॉट ट्रान्समिटिंग इन अपोजिट डायरेक्शन. That is the best example of ratchet and fall. Once we are rotating the pedal in forward direction, engagement is happening. Engagement, that chain and sprocket, त्याच्यामध्ये चेन स्प्रॉकेट असतं, त्याचं एंगेजमेंट होतं, त्याच्यामुळे बायसिकल पुढे जाते पॉवर ट्रान्समिशन मुळे. आणि ज्यावेळी आपण रिव्हर्स फिरवतो पॅडल, रिव्हर्स, फेमस एक्झाम्पल. डिसएंगेजमेंट इज हॅपनिंग. डिसएंगेजमेंट होतं. नंतर काय झालं असतो, दोन्ही केस मध्ये पॉवर ट्रान्समिट झाली असते तर काय झालं असतं कोण सांगतंय? आपण बायसिकल चालवू शकलो असतो का? इज इट पॉसिबल फॉर अस टू राईड द बाईक इफ इट ॲट ऑल हॅपनिंग इन बोथ केसेस पॉवर इज ट्रान्समिटिंग? काय झालं असतं कोण सांगतंय बघू तुमचं लॉजिक? जर आपण पॅडल पुढे फिरवलं तर बायसिकल पुढे गेली असती, आणि पाठीमागे फिरवलं असतं तर बायसिकल रिव्हर्स गिअर टाकल्यासारखा मागे पण गेली असती. येते का लक्षात? आर यू गेटिंग? Means once we are rotating in forward direction, engagement is happening with the component. Once we are going to rotate in opposite direction, disengagement is happening. So I will give homework to search more examples of this ratchet and fall. To search more examples of this ratchet and fall, one or two hardly. So one of the example I have given, a bicycle chain sprocket. Chain sprocket is best example. One of the example I have given is a chain sprocket. Further examples are also there. So you take it as a homework. Then we will see in next lecture. Okay.